So, I believe I have found the delay pedal that will make me happy for all time. When I started this video series on delay pedals, I really hadn't had that much experience with them. I had my MXR carbon copy delay, but generally speaking when it came to using delay, I preferred to use plugins after the fact because I could really sit down and control how they sounded. While I acknowledge I still prefer using plugins for my delay sounds, the Nemesis sounds and acts pretty much exactly like what I want a delay pedal to sound and act like. First of all, I do not notice any sort of audio drop off from the top end of my guitar tone when I'm using this. Even when it's on the analog mode or the tape mode, my original raw guitar tone still comes through perfectly clean. Secondly, the controls on the top mostly make sense. There's a mix knob, there's a delay knob, there's a feedback knob, there's a tap tempo, an on and off switch, and there's a subdivision switch as well. It's not the most advanced subdivision switch I've seen, but let's face it, it's the subdivisions that we're most likely to use. There are also rate, mod, and intensity knobs on there, which they do different things depending on the delay engine that you've chosen or how you've set them up. Now's when we're going to get to where I have issues with this pedal. In order to get the most out of this pedal, you do have to become very good friends with the phone app. The phone apps are generally what I hate the most about Source Audio. If I'm using guitar pedals, I don't want to pull out my phone and start messing with my phone when I've got a guitar pedal sitting in front of me. Like, the last thing I want to do is get a cable, plug in my phone, plug the cable into the pedal, then take my hands off the guitar to sort of scroll on an app and, mess with sliders and everything like that. I find that that's awfully tricky to sort of use, especially because, like, if you're doing stuff with your phone, you then need to put the phone down, play some notes, see what it did. You can't sort of play and mess with things at the same time. It's not intuitive that way. So when you're setting things up with a phone app, you're kind of fishing a little bit. I will acknowledge that using the phone app is very similar to using a plugin, so I'm not going to say that the app itself was like a terrible app or that was badly designed or anything like that. The app is fine, I just don't want to use an app when I'm playing pedals. I was genuinely impressed with the quality of the delays that are in this pedal, and in my humble opinion, it was a step above pretty much every other delay pedal that I've ever played. While I kinda do hate the app, you can set up those mod, rate, and intensity knobs to do whatever you like. So it took me about 2 hours of messing around to sort of set up my delay the way I like it to. But now the controls on the pedal do what I want them to do. So now I never really have to refer to the app, which is really, really nice. That being said, it did annoy me that some of the features like, the effects loop and other routing options, they were hidden away in the app, which meant that you had to do a bit of a deep dive to find things, but moving on, forget about the app. The pedal sounds really, really good, and it is kind of easy to use once you get your head around it. Also, I do want to acknowledge that if you don't dive into the app or anything like that, just using the settings on top, you can get some really, really fantastic sounds out of it. So yeah, while I'm spending half my time grumbling about the app, again, I do want to emphasize that you can get some really awesome sounds out of this without doing a deep dive into the app. So ultimately, the Source Audio Nemesis became my delay pedal. Once I set up my presets so that I had the engines that I like, with the routing that I liked, and with the knobs doing what I wanted them to do, I found the pedal overall really, really easy to use. My only issue is that I did have to do a bit of a deep dive with the app, but I'm going to acknowledge that the end results were kind of worth it. So I strongly recommend checking out the Source Audio Nemesis, just with a big old asterisk that, yeah, I still kind of hate the app.